Hey, this is Pizza Dude Man. By request, these are my top 5 S supports for Niles in Fire Emblem Fates. Niles is an interesting character. As far as supports go, Niles enjoys teasing other characters to get a rise out of them, especially characters that hold themselves in high regard. This probably comes from the fact that Niles overcame a horrid past that he himself doesn't quite all remember, and he's bothered by people who are arrogant that haven't experienced the same kind of hardship he has. Additionally, Niles often speaks in ways that are suggestive, although sometimes this is comically accidental. While sadistic and socially awkward, Niles does have some supports that are a bit sweeter, and these are my top 5 favorites. Number 5. Effie. Before I get into why I like this pairing, let's start with the support conversation itself. Effie believes that Niles has been teaching Elise naughty phrases and confronts him about it. At first, he teases Effie, but with his life on the line, he eventually reveals that he's been talking with Elise because she needed help picking out a gift for Leo for his birthday. Elise picking up Niles' speaking habits was completely accidental. With the misunderstanding cleared, the two become friends, and in their S support more than that. All in all, it's a pretty typical Niles support. Niles teases, the person he's talking to eventually realizes he's not all that bad, yada yada. There are 2 reasons I put this pairing above the other ones I didn't include on this list. For one, when Effie realizes the truth, she initially wants to thank Niles by kissing him on the cheek. Although she gives a straightforward reason for doing so, it helps create a bit of a romantic tone that leads to their S support. Secondly, while they never mention it, Niles and Effie have fairly similar backgrounds. Both of them were Norian children of extreme poverty that eventually found themselves in the service of royalty. I think there's a little more to this relationship than meets the eye. Number 4. Elise. Despite her royal status, Niles never teases Elise, which is a stark contrast to how he treats Camilla. Maybe he's already aware of how much Elise does to help the underprivileged, or maybe he believes Elise is a truly pure and good woman. Whatever the case, it seems like the two are already on friendly terms, which we kind of saw in the Effie supports, and Niles is always respectful and helpful to Elise. In fact, their supports are all about Niles supporting Elise in her growth and duty as a princess, giving her blunt advice on how she should act, but also still lending a shoulder to cry on. In the end, I really like this pairing because the two are good for each other. Niles helps Elise, and Elise is a light in Niles' life. Their S support is really good. Number 3. Setsuna. This is one of Niles' special supports with someone from the Hoshiden army. By all means, Setsuna should be the type of person Niles doesn't like. She is very rich, very well taken care of, and lives a carefree life. Niles initially does try to tease Setsuna, but if you know Setsuna at all, you know that she is so oblivious to insults they don't bother her one bit. She is that carefree. It's this serene nature that winds up intriguing Niles, the only person he's ever met that is able to stay calm and completely live life as themselves despite the world going on around them. In the end, I think their relationship is a lot like Niles and Elise. In their S support, Niles decides that he wants to take care of Setsuna so she can continue to live life as she pleases, and in return, he gets a wife who unconditionally wants him and loves him without any regard to his past. On top of that, I just love having Setsuna as Nina's mother. Nina's most prominent character trait is her daydreaming, which is the focus of Niles and Setsuna's supports. Plus, they're both archers. Number 2. Azura. Niles has a pretty good sense on who to target as far as his teasing goes. With Azura, he quickly realizes that she is not a target. He recognizes that she herself, like him, comes from a very troubled past. In fact, I think she's the only woman that Niles goes out of his way to develop a friendship with. Although Azura isn't sure at first, she too realizes that they already share a bond as 2 people in the army that are unable to share their past with anyone else, and, as such, are both socially awkward. This leads to the two practicing conversing with each other, and eventually to their S support. I don't have much more to say about this pairing. Niles and Azura develop a nice and believable relationship with each other, and they are both characters that tend to avoid making relationships. Number 1. Baraka. This is one of the few S supports in the game that makes me really feel like the two characters were simply destined for each other. For one, they have incredibly similar backstories. Both grew up in the slums of Nor with no real family, adopted criminal lifestyles, and eventually found themselves in an encounter against a member of the royal family. Where they would have died, they were instead hired by Leo and Camilla respectively, and now serve as royal retainers. As far as the supports go, this is another one that creates a unique story for the two characters to go through. Niles has observed Baraka visiting the old slums of Nor frequently and decides to spy on her out of concern that she's taking up assassination contracts. As it turns out, Baraka has actually discovered the grave of her mother, and she has been visiting to come to terms with her emotions. If you know Baraka, she was raised as an emotionless killer, so for her to have feelings like this is a new and significant experience for her. With the truth revealed, Niles is satisfied, except that Baraka claims to know where Niles' mother's grave is as well. When she offers to take him, he refuses. This is the A support, and why I always wind up feeling like I need the S support. It is only in the S support where Niles finally takes up Baraka's suggestion and visit his mother's grave, giving their story closure. In the end, Niles realizes that he can't imagine being without Baraka, and she feels the same way. You see what I mean? This is the only line of supports to really address and explore a part of Niles' past, but it doesn't conclude unless he reaches S support with Baraka. Plus, I really do think they make a great couple. That's why this is my number 1 for Niles. That's it for my top 5 S supports in Fire Emblem Fates for Niles. Let me know what you think in the comments below, which pairings are your favorite, and which Fire Emblem Fates character you'd like to see next time. Thanks for watching!